Hello everyone. Welcome to Global Top 10s. Today in this video we are going to show you the top 10 most powerful countries in the world in terms of the military 2020. Subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Number 10. Brazil. The Brazilian Armed Forces presently has over 334,500 active military personnel and spends about $27.8 billion on its military every year. Land power of the Brazilian Army. The Brazilian Army currently owns 437 battle tanks, 1,820 armored vehicles, 132 self-propelled artillery, and 84 multi-launch rocket system. Air power of the Brazilian Army. With a total of 715 aircraft in which 43 are fighter jets, 254 are helicopters, 24 are main fighter jets. Naval power. The Brazilian Army currently have a number of 7 frigates, 2 corvettes, and 6 submarines. The Brazilian Army does not presently have any aircraft carriers and destroyers. Number 9. Egypt. The Egyptian Armed Forces presently has over 440,000 active military personnel and spends about $11.2 billion on its military every year. Land power of the Egyptian Army. The Egyptian Army currently owns 4,295 battle tanks, 11,700 armored vehicles, 1,139 self-propelled artillery, and 1,084 multi-launch rocket system. Air power of the Egyptian Army. With a total of 1,054 aircraft in which 215 are fighter jets, 375 are helicopters, 11 are main fighter jets. Naval power. The Egyptian Army currently have a number of 2 aircraft carriers, 7 frigates, 7 corvettes, and 8 submarines. The Egyptian Army does not presently have any destroyers. Number 8. The United Kingdom. The British Armed Forces presently has over 192,660 active military personnel and spends about $55.1 billion on its military every year. Land power of the British Army. The British Army currently owns 227 battle tanks, 5,000 armored vehicles, 89 self-propelled artillery, and 35 multi-launch rocket system. Air power of the British Army. With a total of 773 aircraft in which 133 are fighter jets, 361 are helicopters, 28 are main fighter jets. Naval power. The British Army currently have a total number of 2 aircraft carriers, 6 destroyers, 13 frigates, and 10 submarines. Number 7. France. The French Armed Forces presently has over 268,000 active military personnel and spends about $41.5 billion on its military every year. Land power of the French Army. The French Army currently owns 528 battle tanks, 6,028 armored vehicles, 109 self-propelled artillery, and 13 multi-launch rocket system. Air power of the French Army. With a total of 1,229 aircraft in which 269 are fighter jets, 651 are helicopters, 45 are main fighter jets. Naval power. The French Army currently have a total number of 4 aircraft carriers, 11 destroyers, 11 frigates, and 9 submarines. The French Army does not presently have any corvettes. Number 6. South Korea. The South Korean Armed Forces presently has over 580,000 active military personnel and spends about $44 billion on its military every year. Land power of the South Korean Army. The South Korean Army currently owns 2,614 battle tanks, 14,000 armored vehicles, 3,040 self-propelled artillery, and 575 multi-launch rocket system. Air power of the South Korean Army. With a total of 1,649 aircraft in which 414 are fighter jets, 844 are helicopters, 30 are main fighter jets. Naval power. The South Korean Army currently have a total number of 2 aircraft carriers, 12 destroyers, 18 frigates, 12 corvettes, and 22 submarines. The South Korean Army currently a powerful naval army. Number 5. Japan. The Japanese Armed Forces presently has over 247,160 active military personnel and spends about $49 billion on its military every year. Land power of the Japanese Army. The Japanese Army currently own 1,004 battle tanks, 3,130 armored vehicles, 236 self-propelled artillery, and 99 multi-launch rocket system. Air power of the Japanese Army. With a total of 1,561 aircraft in which 279 are fighter jets, 756 are helicopters, 152 are main fighter jets. Naval power. The Japanese Army currently have a total number of 4 aircraft carriers, 40 destroyers, 6 corvettes and 20 submarines. The Japanese Army does not currently have any frigates. Number 4. India. The Indian Armed Forces presently has over 1,444,000 active military personnel and spends about $61 billion on its military every year. Land power of the Indian Army. The Indian Army currently owns 4,292 battle tanks, 8,686 armored vehicles, 235 self-propelled artillery, and 266 multi-launch rocket system. Air power of the Indian Army. With a total of 2,123 aircraft in which 538 are fighter jets, 745 are helicopters, 77 are main fighter jets. Naval power. The Indian Army currently have a total number of 1 aircraft carriers, 10 destroyers, 19 corvettes, 13 frigates, and 16 submarines. Number 3. China. The Chinese Armed Forces presently has the highest number of active military personnel with over 2,183,000 active personnel and spends about $237 billion on its military every year. The second highest spender on military. Land power of the Chinese Army. The Chinese Army currently owns 3,500 battle tanks, 33,000 armored vehicles, 3,800 self-propelled artillery, and 2,650 multi-launch rocket system. Air power of the Chinese Army. With a total of 3,210 aircraft in which 1,232 are fighter jets, 1,192 are helicopters, 111 are main fighter jets. Naval power. The Chinese Army currently have a total number of 2 aircraft carriers, 36 destroyers, 50 corvettes, 52 frigates, and 74 submarines. The Chinese Army has one of the most largest navy in the world. Number 2. Russia. The Russian Armed Forces presently has over 1,628,000 active military personnel and spends about $48 billion on its military every year. Land power of the Russian Army. The Russian Army currently owns 12,950 battle tanks, 27,038 armored vehicles, 6,083 self-propelled artillery, and 3,860 multi-launch rocket system. Air power of the Russian Army. With a total of 4,163 aircraft in which 873 are fighter jets, 2,053 are helicopters, 127 are main fighter jets. Naval power. The Russian Army currently have a total number of 1 aircraft carriers, 16 destroyers, 79 corvettes, 10 frigates, and 62 submarines. Number 1. The United States. The U.S. Armed Forces presently has over 1,400,000 active military personnel and spends about $750 billion on its military every year. Land power of the U.S. Army. The U.S. Army currently owns 6,289 battle tanks, 39,253 armored vehicles, 1,465 self-propelled artillery, and 1,366 multi-launch rocket system. Air power of the U.S. Army. With a total of 13,264 aircraft in which 2,085 are fighter jets, 6,735 are helicopters, 742 are main fighter jets. Naval power. The U.S. Army currently have a total number of 20 aircraft carriers, 91 destroyers, 19 corvettes, and 66 submarines. Thanks for watching. See you in our next video.